M decides to call the cops on her 12 approx-year-old. So a bit of a backstory on this. My entitled mother is the biggest, most accurate description of a Karen that you could get. The only thing that doesn't match is the haircut. She's been this way my entire life and I don't see her stopping anytime soon. Just to give you an idea of her personality. Back when I was 12, maybe 13, my M decided that showing emotions and being somewhat possessive over my own items was a big no-no. And I don't mean possessive as I'm gonna throw a tantrum if you dare think about taking my toy away. It was more of I want to know an actual reason for you taking away one of my things. She often took things away, which certainly didn't help my possessiveness. M also knows several police officers and is good friends with them. She gets the bright idea of let me traumatize my child by having a uniformed, off-the-clock police officer come yell at them. I was hardly a teenager and certainly had never done anything wrong. I'd never even been threatened with juvie since I was well-behaved and laid back. But being the entitled mother she is, not having absolute control over myself obviously hit a sore spot. So she calls her police friend who shows up in full gear and I spent a solid 15 minutes being talked down to in a very condescending manner. Having a bright-ass flashlight shined in my face. I'd also like to mention I have glasses BC of bad eyesight and that flashlight certainly didn't help matters. And generally being terrified from the threat of being brought to juvie and having this on my record. Sorry if this wasn't what people were expecting or such. But I've got more posts to follow if only to get them off my chest as my M has been the same and horrible my entire life and still. At the time I'm posting this, as a side note, I'd like to say that this is not the only time she decided to do this. Why the hell didn't the police officer listen to you? Also your mother is feeping horrible. He didn't even give me a chance to talk, much less anything else. Plus I know for a fact that he was or is. Haven't seen him in a few years, my mother's friend. Safe to say I'm very uncomfortable around any police officers even if I realize they're not all the same. He's still a cop? Report his ass for harassment to a child. TBF I don't even remember his name. I could probably pick him out from a group but not on his own or based on his name. And I don't think it would hold up considering it was like 5 or 6 years ago. You still live without the her or are you out from that? Lots of people on here have resources and suggestions on getting away if you need it. She sounds horrible. Can't wait to read more stories. I have a feeling she gets worse. She's as horrid as she always is. I'm writing out some more to be posted later, particularly about COVID mask restrictions ATM cause oh boy. I'm still living with her for now, sadly. But I've got friends and once I'm making a steady wage and got money saved up we're planning on getting an apartment or place for 2 or 3 of us to split rent and such. I wish you the best of luck. You have probably seen it before. Post it in comments on this forum. And make sure you get all of your important documentation, such as birth certificate and SSN, ahead of your move out. What some people do as well is start moving anything important/personal to them out of the family home to friends who will keep it safe, so that nothing is left behind to either be held hostage or destroyed. Thanks for the advice. I've got most things important/personal in my room already and I can pack up just about my entire room in maybe 2 or 3 decent sized storage containers. So when I do leave I should be able to take everything all at once. Don't forget your documents. Birth certificate, SSN card, passport if you have one, things like that. It's extremely likely that she'll make it as difficult as possible to get them afterward. The only thing I don't have is my birth certificate, which I need to find out where she stored it. But I've got my SSN card already so that's set and I don't have a passport. Thanks for the advice though. R/raised by narcissists. You'll fit right in and find great support. She's a real piece of work. That's a subreddit? Oh yeah, I've got to check that out then. Thanks for the info. And yeah, she really is. I came here to say this. I hope you cut this nutty bitch out of your life. I'm gonna be as soon as I'm able to be somewhat financially stable on my own. Why are almost all Karen's friends with a police officer? No clue, but she knew at least 2 of them. Couldn't that cop be out there stopping people from crashing into a school bus at 200 miles per hour than doing this? And your mother is horrible. I'm fairly certain he was off the clock and that she called in a favor or SMTH for that. And yes, she is. Tell internal affairs that they were both abusing you and that he was coming over on the clock to meet up with your mom. The scared straight type program/approach are highly ineffective, but people keep thinking that will fix years of poor parenting. My stepdad was a cop and he used to beat me so bad that I only remember bits and pieces of my childhood. Apparently my mom didn't know, but she was also an addict and a nurse that got fired from the hospital she worked at for stealing patients' meds. So yeah. Hey though, I'm super glad we are all here today to share these wonderful family memories, right? I'm truly sorry your mom sucked like that. I'm so sorry that you went through what you did too. And bonding over happy memories is too mainstream. Bonding over trauma is where it's at. Thank you. It made me stronger and prepared me for future speep. I'm going to say that 2019 would have killed me had it not been for what I learned growing up with my family. And yes, I know there is plenty of trauma to go around and the world needs to come together somehow. She sounds horrible for a piece of trash. Drags into recycling bin. Drags recycling bin into toxic waste bin. Drags toxic waste bin into quarantine chamber. Launches quarantine chamber into the sun. Horrified at the fact that this cop would actually do that. Most police departments have yaw and turns affairs to investigate police misconduct. This certainly qualifies. If she is still pulling this speep, get his badge number and make a formal complaint. The department will be forced to investigate. If you can get video evidence to back you up, this would be better. At the least, your mother's friends may be reluctant to do it again if they know they could be reprimanded or punished. She hasn't tried in several years, likely BC of the fact that I won't fall for the speep as easily. Now that you mention a badge number, she was certainly worried about a card that she thought one of the officers had left with me, like a business card. Wonder if it had something to do with that. Another thought that just occurred to me. What did your mother tell him? You mentioned he kept shining the flashlight in your eyes. If she told him she thought you were abusing drugs, he may have been looking for signs of usage. I've got zero clue. I wouldn't have put it past her considering she literally had me drug tested. BC some of her pills went missing and then she later changed her story to an entire bottle was gone. While waiting for the results, which Ov came up clean to tell the officer false stuff about me to make him act like he did. I think it might been SMTH to do with an intimidation tactic or SMTH. The conversation had two separate parts, one outside with the flashlight and the other inside with the card. Wow, I feel sorry for you, mate. Your mom is the worst mom I ever heard. Sadly, ik Therese worse parents than mine, but yeah, she's a pretty bad person. Holy speep, your mother is horrible. I pray for your sanity and well-being that you have cut your M off completely and gone absolute zero contact. If you haven't, do it today. It won't do any good at all, but let her know why. I'm working on being able to leave and completely cut contact with her, as well as making it completely clear that I want nothing more to do with her once I do. It'd be easier if I didn't want to keep contact with the rest of my small family, but I'll make do. Let us know. God bless you. Your mom. Yell at my child for not wanting me to take their stuff for no reason. The cop, S.E.M.S. Likea G ud idea. Apparently, I've no clue how she managed to convince him that was a good idea. My now stepmother did this same thing because I was failing school and not doing chores. The officer threatened to arrest me for not doing the dishes. I don't speak with my father or his horrible wife anymore. He gets a single text on his birthday and on Christmas. I won't go out of my way to take his phone calls. And when I do, I don't offer forward any details about my personal life. My brother tells me that it devastates him, and I'm honestly glad. That's horrid. I've never understood what threatening police intervention on children did besides make them more sneaky. Could you live with your dad? Has been out of the picture for being abusive, among other things. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe an aunt or grandparent. I wish I had a solution for you. God bless. Thanks for your concern. I'm planning on attempting to leave soon considering I'm almost 19. Just need to save up money. I hate when horrid parents use the threat of police to try and parent their kids. It doesn't work because all it does is breed fear of police and authorities rather than teach respect. I once saw a woman drag her maybe 10-year-old son kicking and screaming to the front door of the local police station. Then while the poor kid was practically catatonic laying on the floor in the fetal position, crying his eyes out, she yelled and screamed about how next time she would leave him there. He was in no state to understand anything that she said or learn any meaningful lesson from the situation. He was terrified out of his wits. I'm so sorry. This is wait till your father gets home to an extreme. I can't stand parents who try to pass responsibility for parenting onto others. Can we have a rip in chat? I saw, in some of your comments, that you are planning to get out. It is important to gather your important papers and store them with a friend. Or 2 copies with 2 friends so you have a bigger safety buffer. Are you in the USA? May be able to help you. It's a group that helps with domestic violence people, but they probably know how to help you plan or know of a group that can help you plan. Physical isn't the only kind of abuse. Mental and emotional exist also. If there is any chance your mom has or can get access to your Reddit and other accounts, delete anything about your life with her and plans. If she knows anyone on your social media or other accounts, close them down. Take no chances, please. That's really awful and reminds me of what my parents did to my brother. My brother was around 14 to 16 and all he did was not want to shower for the night. They called the cops. They came and stripped him naked and forced him into the shower. I still remember his screaming and pleading, the cops shouting and all the banging. The next morning they took him to the police station and got him locked up for half an hour. Complete waste of police resources, and I bet my parents would deny it if it was ever brought up. That's horrifying, and Tyrese, no way that was legal. Like what the actual hell? Huh. You know, it's funny. All of these really speepy parent types I personally know, or continuously hear about, always manage to be good friends with cops. Kind of tells you what kind of people cops tend to associate with. My mom kicked me out, then reported me as a runaway 1 hour later. So like, how you feel? That's horrid. I've been threatened with being kicked out ever since my 18th birthday. It's not a fun feeling. As soon as one turned 18, my mom was making me pay everything. Bills for food. Things they couldn't even afford. I was working open close for 7 days a week. So after a while I paid the bills one last time and then moved across the country. They disowned me, but I now am much happier. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I truly hope you're doing better now. Once I get working on my job, she's going to be making me pay for a lot of things, but frankly I'm planning on paying my own expenses, including food, gas, and a cut of the electricity and water so that she can't complain I'm not contributing. That is a very smart idea. You should do that. And don't let them rely on you either, in case they tell you you can't leave because they need you. Oh yeah, I'm not ever gonna let them try and say they're relying on me. The only thing that would make me stay around is if something was affecting my little sister, and if I did stay, I would be setting some non-negotiable ground rules. I want to see you on Pro Revenge. Oh, I wish. I'm planning on giving her a rather large wake-up call when I'm able to leave BC. I'm the one at home that does nearly all chores, cooks, and takes care of all the animals. And I sure as hell know my little sister isn't going to put up with having to do everything like I do. You want to find the police officer? Go on your phone. Sorry to say that I don't think you will care, but I think he is her friend. BTW, what animals do you have? Nah, he was a legit cop because I somewhat knew him, and he rode with a group of cops in our Mardi Gras. 4 dogs and 6 cats. A lot ick, but one of the cats is my personal one. And another 2 are my sister's, while everything else is our mother's. So even when I leave, I'm leaving them with 4 dogs and 5 cats. No, yes, a legit cop, but friends with your mother. Lol, those animals. I have a dog and can have him pee on the carpet. I don't think he was friends with her cause he had a wife. Then again, I didn't know him well personally. 2 of the dogs are purely outside dogs. Unless it's cold or thundering, then they're put in the party room in our shed cause it's soundproofed and has an AC/heater. 1 comes in at night, and her rat dog is purely inside. All the cats are inside cats, but are typically well behaved anyway.